Let's move that over there. Okay. I am going to go. Let's see. Excuse me. I'm live right now, right? Okay. Let's do sound the people that did the Grim Dawn soundtrack. And then go. We'll have the Grim Dawn soundtrack going. It's got a tear in it way down. Alright, so I have to go very quick, and I'm actually going to post a YouTube video for today's stream. Today we are going to go over some Grim Dawn theory crafting. Provided I have people actually show up in stream to talk about this stuff. Now, I can't... Oh, God. I have to... Hang on a second. There's something on a shelf that's, like, reflecting light into my eyes. Badly. Oh, I didn't fix it. God damn it. Okay. It's like maybe the 2 days out of the year that can happen. So we'll let things, let the stream start up a bit. Because I was thinking of this earlier, and I sort of realized that I haven't done a once over of the new classes, because all their skills are revealed, and all the skills are on Grim Tools. So this video is going to cover that, but I also haven't done a video on theory crafting builds within these two classes as they combine with the other classes. So today's stream and the video that I'm going to put up on YouTube, which is going to be, I think, tomorrow's video, we're going to do some class-only theory crafting. Friday, provided I don't have permission to stream, I think the item database is going to be up. So we can do another one of these, potentially, to talk about the item sets that are going to work with these classes. Because pretty much every two-class combo has an item set now. And there are tons of items beyond that that support two-class combos. Pretty much all of them. And yeah. Then I think maybe we'll do another one next Tuesday. The whole reason I'm doing this too is basically the two games I wanted to play got... But there's been complications. I have to actually figure out how I want to do the Bloodborne playthrough I want to do for this month. And I forgot to install Alien Isolation. So, anyways, let's start with a basic overview of the two classes. So, Inquisitor's listed first. The Inquisitor is, on one hand, a gun class. On the other hand, an elemental caster. I personally kind of find the Inquisitor as a class a little lackluster. Specifically because they didn't make it a gun class just outright. So if you look at like the Shaman, it is, and we can actually, if you look at the Shaman, it has minimum one ability, like actual ability, that is two-hand weapon based. Melee or range. Savagery has the option with Might of the Boar to also be a two-hand weapon based thing. The rest is spellcasting, and there's a pet thrown in there. But the Shaman, part of its manifesto kind of was two-hand support, and it gets it through the one chain of its weapon pool skills, and then Primal Strike. The Inquisitor, I think at least two of the abilities should have been gun abilities. And I know I'm not the only person that thinks this, and I know it was brought up. But otherwise, it's pretty much just passives for guns are what the gun support is. So you have ranged expertise, bursting round, chilling rounds, storm spread, and deadly aim. And those five passives, well, it's two passives and three weapon pool skills. Hey, Obzen and Heliocop and Raiden. My chat's in... Let's put my chat back over here. And hi, Wink. I can't stream it yet. I may not be able to stream it until the day it releases. So I'm gonna talk about the classes because I haven't actually talked about them yet. Like, I haven't done a video just talking about the classes, like the actual information on the classes yet. So I'm using this for that, and then I'm gonna also maybe Friday, because we'll see, because Grim Tools is supposed to get its database publicly updated, because it's still only privately updated with all the expansion stuff, and maybe we'll do this again on Friday to talk about the items, provided I can't stream Grim Dawn by then. So yeah, I'd love to have chat's opinion on the various and sundry things I talk about. See, the thing is, Link, I have the playtest version of the game, and they haven't allowed me. They said don't stream it, don't do videos for it. That's why I haven't done Grim Dawn videos in the last couple months, is I've been in that version of the game. That sucks, Hobson. Anyways, I was going over the Inquisitor. So the Inquisitor, part ranged character, mostly spellcaster though. And I was mentioning that I kind of feel that it's one of the... Well, I actually feel both classes are kind of weak, but of the two new classes, and of all of the classes, I think it's on the low end. Not in terms of power or anything. I think in terms of just design. Like, I don't want to do a review before the game's out, but part of this is going to be me sharing my thoughts on stuff too. So, yeah, like I was saying, the five passive / weapon pool skills are the gun skills. And then the rest is pretty much caster stuff. So Word of Renewal, very similar to Pneumatic Burst. Word of Pain is just straight up damage. Horn of Gondar, that's gone through revisions, and I haven't actually used the latest. Flames of Ignifar, the Flamethrower. Rune of Hagarad and Rune of Callistor are the traps. Stormbox of Elgoloth. I almost said Elgoloth. Elgoloth is one of the more interesting abilities. And then Inquisitor Seal. The Inquisitor Seal is kind of the thing that appeals to me the most out of this character. Mostly because of this, the Null Field, where... you get the avoidance, because if you're doing a gun character, Null Field seems like perfect, right? Because you're not casting stuff, you're doing attack speed, which means you just get free evasion, right? So the Inquisitor, I kind of wish it was a gun character with some spells, not a spell character with some guns. The Necromancer is not bad. It's got some standard Necromancer things. You've got your Ray Skeletons. You've got like a bone ability. You have a big summon. But otherwise it's got some unique things that are great, and some things that I don't think are that great, but we'll go over that as we go, and we work on these builds and stuff. These build ideas. So, Drain Essence is sort of like Albrecht's Aether Ray, except instead of being a straight line beam, it is sort of this like mid-rangey cone-ish ability that can actually get spread out more. With, I think it's the first modifier? Yeah, with the chance to hit 2 additional targets. And it lifesteals. So it's riskier than the Aether Ray, insofar as being at range is reducing your risk, but you're lifestealing to compensate. You can turn it into a cold ability with a slow. You remove the life drain now. Ravenous Earth is the one ability where I'm kind of like, I wish it was something else. Because to me, it's very similar to Dreeg's Evil Eye. And I don't want to lie, I kind of wish Poison wasn't part of the Necromancer's kit. Because I think this would have been better served as another cold ability. Or even Aether ability. Anyways, Siphon Souls is a Nova attack. It deals vitality damage. The Transmuter has an Aether damage conversion, but increases the duration on the damage on it, and it lifesteals. Bone Harvest is that like wave of bones that deals cold damage. The modifier makes it smaller but deal more damage. And there is on the third, or the transmuter, the third modifier, or second modifier, excuse me, third part of the skill, has a buff to your pets. So it can kind of help you with a hybrid build if you're going for that. Raised Skeletons. So Raised Skeletons is interesting. You sort of summon up 3 skeletons by default. And right now, my Necromancer has 9. He has 8 by default, and he gets +1 skeleton from a weapon. So, with that in mind, you can actually get more from your items. And you can have a fairly substantial army of undead roaming around. That being said, you kind of have to manage them. And I actually like that. That's the big thing I like about Raised Skeletons, is they die. They die quite a bit, actually. And this is from Elite experience. I'm saving Ultimate for next Wednesday, because I think that's what I'm going to stream, is the Ultimate Necromancer. Or Necromancer in Ultimate. So a Necro in Elite with some moderate pet gearing and devotion was kind of having to refresh the skeletons a lot. And I don't mind that. Because the thing I hate about pet builds in this game is they're boring. Because your pets just never die. And you never have to manage them. And they just can kill everything and tank for you. Your skeletons can do some killing and tanking. But it's at the expense of them. So you have to actually keep refreshing your skeletons. Ill Omen is a curse. It's pretty much representative of curses in general that a Necromancer class has. It works pretty well. I don't like that it's a Terrify, unfortunately. But that's kind of a blessing and a curse, because if you Terrify and you're a spellcaster, you get the enemy off of you. But if you didn't have the Terrify, everything would stay in place, so you could just attack it. Summon Blight Theme. Hey, Parthenox. Summon Blight Fiend. I haven't actually used the Blight Fiend. Hey, Clobber. I haven't actually used the Blight Fiend, so I don't know how good it is. Yeah, we're talking about Grim Dawn in preparation for next week. So we're doing classes today. I'll do items on Friday. Then we'll maybe do a summary and a planning stream for Tuesday. Provided I'm not allowed to stream still. Just to keep everyone caught up. Spectral Binding and Spectral Wrath is sort of the toggle passive for Aether. It's pretty nice. It's sort of a nice all-rounder one, because you get the Aether damage, health, and offensive ability. And then the other half is more damage, and it reduces the Aether res of targets. Items still aren't included. I can talk about some of them. Hey, Haven Urel. On next Wednesday, I'm going to be playing my Necromancer. He's at 84 and entering Ultimate. And you may be thinking, hey, that's weird. He's level 84 and he's just now entering Ultimate. Don't you enter Ultimate at like level 50? There's a reason. We'll have to wait until the item database is updated, because the reason will probably be put in it. Call of the Grave, you sort of press a button to give your pets a boost. And Mark of Torment, I kind of played with it a little bit. And I'm intrigued by it. Because Mark of Torment is you mark a target, and then you gain damage absorption, and I think they take the damage? Yeah, it reflects the damage onto that target. It's a little like Mirror, but you need an enemy. I'd have to actually, like, play with it. And I don't know what the damage... Well, we can just check now. I can't... Mark Torment. My keyboard is over here because I'm on my Wacom. Okay. So 50% at 10. We obviously can't check plus skills. 5 seconds? That's comparable to Mirror. Mirror's 3 seconds. Same recharge value, too, I think. Let me put my keyboard in my lap, just to make it easier. Yeah, it's about balanced compared to Mirror of Orestes. And then you have 2 exclusive skills, Harbinger of Souls, Master of Death. One is for your caster, one is for your pet build. And then your Reap Spirit ability is a hybrid build. It's not super ergonomic because like I said, I'm using my Cintiq tablet right now. This is my Photoshop setup. And Reap Spirit's pretty good. Not gonna lie. You can only have one of them, though. I haven't found... Oh, no. When you get to 17, you can get 2. I have it at 16 right now. I should possibly jump it up to 17 for my Necro, actually. So, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, you have the Aura of Conviction, Aura of Censure. They're basically Aura exclusive skills. I think I went over everything. My misgivings about the Inquisitor. I do have misgivings about the Necro. Inquisitor-Demo, yeah, I would say it's the perfect gunner. So I guess we'll start with the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor-Shoulder. Yes, the Inquisitor-Shoulder. The Inquisitor-Soldier. Anyone have any thoughts on this? Because for me, the immediate thing is to go Cadence, pick up Fighting Form, keep Fighting Form maxed out. And then, yeah, you want Fighting Form at 12 out of 12, and you want to use that to get stuff passing through, so you can get all those weapon pool skills passing through. My Necromancer uses Albrecht's Aether Ray with skeletons. I don't know how good it is yet.
Hi there.
Because I haven't been able to play it in Ultimate. I've actually been waiting to play it in Ultimate so I can stream going into Ultimate with it. So I don't know how good it's gonna work. It may get changed. Thank you for the follow, Jake Zombie Killer. Should probably put the alerts box up on the Photoshop section. I thought I had it up, but I guess not. Okay then. Tank melee caster with Inquisitor-Soldier. I think that's entirely possible. I think that actually might be one of the better builds. Because the first place I would go is Cadence with a gun, because that works already. Because of Fighting Form and the Piercing. You're just adding on the gun abilities. I think a caster, if you did Flames with it, along with maybe Word of Pain, and then you grab up all your tanking stuff, because you don't have a caster offhand requirement. So with the caster offhand requirement removed, because like if you're gonna do sort of a battle mage, there's there's a couple spells, but the like biggest spell the Arcanist has is Devastation, and you need a caster offhand for that. And if you wanted to use Aether Ray, you need the caster offhand for that. The other spells you don't need it, but it helps a lot because of the cost of those things. And the casting speed and all that stuff. Well, with this setup, Flames, even at 16 out of 16, 162.5 mana, or energy per second, is incredibly tiny. A high-end Aether Ray is like 600 a second. Yeah, and you have that shield you can cast Devastation with. So, that actually makes the Battle Mage more interesting. Battle Mage also gets a crazy set coming up. See, I know a couple of the sets off the top of my head already. I don't want to name them, say what they do, or I obviously can't show them, but I will mention them. And there are actually 2 Battle Mage sets coming out. That one with the shield that lets you cast Devastation, and there's another one. So there are 2 Battle Mage sets to support the combo. And they definitely make making that class easier. Oh, Inquisitor, it's all 3 elementals. You have all 3 elementals, and then you have this right here, Alagast Arcane Net, which changes the lightning to Aether. And then you have this right here, Tainted Flame, which changes the fire to Chaos on the flames, and the lightning to Vitality on the flames. So this opens up using Flames of Ignifar with the Occultist and the Necromancer. And this opens up, Stormbox with the Aether conversion opens up doing stuff with the Arcanist and the Necromancer. Mostly the Arcanist, though. I don't think there's some Pierce on ranged expertise. Yeah, there's a little physical on Bursting Round. Piercing on Chilling. Like, it's not a lot, though. It's piercing. It's pretty much flat piercing damage on those abilities. Yeah, there is some physical and Concussive Blast. Yeah, there's physical and piercing in there, but I think that's more to combo it with the Demo, maybe Soldier a little easier. But the Fire Rune has it. But the Inquisitor, to me, like, I'd rather have a Demolitionist. I'm just going to be brutally honest. I'd rather have a Demolitionist. Because to me, the Inquisitor, the Inquisitor feels like a second class. It feels like this is the class you want to go to buff up whatever first class you have. Yeah, and to me, like, a lot of what like, specifically this rune, to me, sort of symbolizes what I don't like about this class, because your bombs and the Demolitionists do this better, in my humble opinion. But yeah, anyways, Soldier, I think a melee caster would work really well here, too. The only abilities I don't think that combo well, probably your Blade Arc and your Force Wave. I mean, if you're gearing physical, you might be able to pull it off, but anyways, yeah, that's that. So, yeah, Inquisitor-Demo. We'll get to the Inquisitor-Nightblade. Anything that combos to the Nightblade, for me, has a very, very tough piece of competition in the Spellbreaker to deal with. But I think that's, yeah, after the Occultist. So yeah, Demolitionist. I think everyone wants to make one of these. Because of this. Because of Fire Strike. Any of the ranged setups with Fire Strike. With Bursting Round. You'll just be able to deal an obscene amount of fire damage. Just forward-facing fire damage. Because this will proc it. Then you have that combination of, like, using Brimstone and Static Strike with, like, the knocking down and then, like, the explosions. And you have more explosions of fire with Bursting Rounds. So you can actually get just a lot of fire damage just pouring out. Like the Pyromancer. The other one is, of course, Flames of Ignifar. And everything fire and lightning over here. Because Flames is fire lightning. So that's basically built for the demo, right? Because the lightning comes here on the second part. And you have this other stuff here where you add the Electrocute and the Burn Electrocute and Chance to Fumble. And you reduce its cost. So, Flames with, like, Flame Touched. Probably throw a little bit on Temper, too. Yeah, you can actually get a lot going with this character. I don't think you can do a tri-elemental gunner and convert it all to physical. You could do a tri-elemental melee character and get it to convert. But yeah, I think this is the most basic one because all of the lightning and fire abilities basically cross over and mesh perfectly. Because you can combine your Flames of Ignifar with the with Granado, with Calidor, with Stunjacks, with Mortar Trap. You can post a Theorycrafted build, Clobber. It just works so well together. Like, this is probably the crossover thing. Yeah, Baroness Reforged is a melee weapon that has a toggle passive that converts all your elemental to physical. So you'd have to play it in melee. Also, it's not exactly that great. I tried to make it work, and it actually is a little rough. Let's... Yeah, let's just open that up. Yeah. Sort of a Rune Knight, Clobber. I haven't actually seen the, I haven't actually seen what the, what the fuck song is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't actually seen the set for that class combo yet. Because like I mentioned at the top of starting tonight that every class combo has a set now. From what I've seen. I just don't know what that one is. Like I'm gonna flip through real quick. And even if they don't have a set, there's actually support for every combo. No, and there's even more support for some of them. Okay, there's a chest piece. Yeah, they said this week. That's why I'm saying, like, on Friday, maybe we'll do this again and talk about the items. I might give opinions on my thoughts on the mythical concept, too. Okay, I found it. Can't show it. I will, however, look at it. Nah. I haven't actually... Talk to me later, Clobber. I'll show it to you. I'll break a rule. Or at least I'll mention it to you in Discord. Okay, yeah. So, Nightblade. Inquisitor-Occultist. I mentioned before, I think the main thing here is Flames of Ignifar with its Tainted Flame ability, and then just mixing Occultist stuff in. I could also see finding a lot of support with the way an Arcanist does it, where you could go for the Storm Spirit and then the Blood of Dreeg concept with Curse of Frailty, Vulnerability. And you could also get some advantage out of Destruction's Fire. Maybe go down to Aspect of the Guardian as your furthest. So you'd use these three. You summon familiar. Which, we can actually talk about that item. There is that item that gives you 2 summon familiars. I haven't played with it yet. So I don't know if you get the double bonus on Storm Spirit. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, you also got Blood of Dreeg and the Curse. You can combine that with pretty much everything in here. It's on grimtools.com. Yeah, the classes are up. The items are not. Otherwise, I don't think there's a lot that combos well beyond that. They've been up for a while. I just haven't gotten to doing a video yet. So yeah, you can play around with it at home. I'm kind of gonna throw this on YouTube as just a big conversation piece. I've been prone to do that. Like the StarCraft game I played yesterday, I'm just gonna throw up as one big thing. Anyone else have thoughts on the what is this one called? The Deceiver. I know this is Purifier and Tactician. That's Deceiver. This is the Infiltrator. Mage Hunter. Whoops. Let's undo both so I have the Inquisitor on the front. I know Necromancer's Apostate. Vindicator. Okay. I mean, the Deceiver... Yeah. Is there any Chaos 2 Fire, or are there... Oh, there's a lot of conversion coming up. You guys have no idea. I'm being vague, but I'm hopefully being hypey enough. So the thing I'll point out is here. So, like, Flames of Ignifar, the Flamethrower ability, you can turn it into Chaos and Vitality. Because it has Fire on the first part, Lightning on the second part. You can convert that to Chaos. That will actually help you with Soleil's Witchfire, merging with Sigil, having Second Right up there. This also helps you combine this class with the Necromancer a little easier. Which actually you can do with the Stormbox too. If you do Stormbox, then you pick up the Alagast's Arcane Net. This turns it into Aether. So you can actually have Aether and Vitality together on the Inquisitor, which combines well with the Necromancer. I also think this could be an alternative to the Pyromancer. Because the Pyromancer was essentially use Fire Strike and then get support from the Occultist. This I could see using a slew of the gun abilities and then get support from the Occultist in the same way. Necro-Inquisitor, I don't see the appeal of doing it, but I mentioned before you can get some, because it's, I think Cold would be the way to go, or Tri-Elemental would be the way to go, but because you have Necrotic Edge, you have Bone Harvest, so I could see doing like Chilling Rounds, the Rune of Hagarad, and Bone Harvest by default. And you could maybe work in the Stormbox with its Aether conversion, and then have your Spectral Binding, boosting that. And you could also convert the Siphon Souls to Aether and use that. Achievements? Let me check. I unlocked a bunch. Let me see if I can get a full count. That was Steam freezing my whole computer, by the way. You can actually look at the achievements right now. I'm waiting for Steam to load the page. You know, for however much people mock like Blizzard and its launcher, oh god, it didn't even load the achievements page. At least it's not like this nonsense. Hey Chinoa88, thank you for the follow. There are 124 presently in the game. I'm at 84. I think all I have, the only stuff I have open is all the Crucible and hardcore crap. I've done all this stuff. Probably have to do it all again just to get it to register. Having played it, I'm hyped for people to see the new areas, mostly. See, I just don't play the Crucible at all. Yeah, so there's some builds you can do with the Inquisitor-Necro. Keep this in mind, though. You can never, ever join Kaiman's Chosen if you pick the Necro before joining them. Necromancers aren't allowed in the Chosen for story purposes. I skipped over the Nightblade and Arcanist, didn't I? Whoops. And Shaman. So yeah, Inquisitor-Nightblade. So there are a lot of cold synergies here. The big one for me, I think, is actually Phantasmal Blades. Because even though it does convert to Vitality still. Oh, thank you for the follow, Hypnomic. The big draw for me is Nether Edge. You can do it after. You can game the system. Hey, Yukari. Nether Edge and then the Night's Chill abilities, to me, for the Inquisitor, are definitely where it's at. So the Inquisitor Nightblade. I mentioned before that it basically has, I think, the toughest combination in terms of, or toughest competition for any combination. Because the Spellbreaker is like S tier. Like, if I had to list the S tier class combos, it's like Conjurer, Sorcerer, Spellbreaker, Commando, maybe? Like, in terms of DPS, I guess Pyromancer. But, in terms of, like, build synergy, in terms of defense, in terms of... Yeah, I actually got a lot of people here to watch me talk. Hey, Vesrilix. It's weird, right? I could sit here and grind Heroes of the Storm and try to show off getting good at that game, and I'd have no one watching. I could sit here and play any other game, and it'd be like no one to watch. I'm just gonna sit here and talk about Grim Dawn. You can't wait for the super bosses. Oh, you sweet, sweet summer child. There's one that I beat it co-oping with Sino, and I got its rare drop. Well, it's not rare, but I got a good version of it, and I can't wait to show you guys it because it's going to be worth the joke. Temporal Arcblade would be great with the Arcanist-Inquisitor. But anyways, yeah, to me, like, the Spellbreaker, this is like a not as good Spellbreaker, because the Spellbreaker, you have access. I'm going to point at the screen that no one can see me pointing at, when I should really be mousing over it. So you have Pneumatic Burst and Shadow Dance, and with the Spellbreaker, you have Mivan Sphere on top of that. So you have this amazing core of a defense just from 2 abilities. With the Inquisitor, it doesn't have that defensive ability. Now you can, with Inquisitor Seal, get some damage absorption, and you can add on some avoidance. So that's not that bad, but that's way deep too. But yeah, the main synergy here would be cold damage, because of Chilling Rounds, Rune of Hagarad, Word of Pain. Is it this aura? Aura of Conviction works great here. Not so much Aura of Censure. Inquisitor Seal works. There is a lot of synergy, so I don't think it's a bad combo. Yeah, you see here's the thing though, Vezrelix. If you're doing Inquisitor Seal, you can still attack at full speed. So if you're doing Amarost's Blade Burst with the gun, with Chilling Rounds, and Inquisitor Seal with the avoidance, you don't care about casting speed. Hello, Truly the Prince. Thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. There is also Word of Renewal, so you get the double heal thing that the Witch Hunter gets. Yeah, that is the drawback. So if you're using casting speed stuff, I don't think that matters much. Man, I hope that lawnmower is not that audible. I was talking about... I can't say. God damn it. Excuse me. I hope that wasn't audible either. So casting speed is anything that uses a non-standard animation. So just swinging your weapons, Amarost's Blade Burst, weapon pool skills, cadence, savagery, fire strike, all of those abilities, you're still using your standard weapon attack animations, which means attack speed applies to them. So like Force Wave uses a special animation, so that scales off of casting speed. If it has a special animation, it scales off of casting speed. That's all that really matters, or really means. So like Panetti's, Driegs by default, Albrecht's, Phantasmal Blades when you spam it, those all use cast speed. No, Dual Blades is still a default animation. It's just those default animations when you use those special abilities still based off of attack speed, because they have their own like animation for proccing it, but it's still an attack. I mean, things that it does get confusing here, right? Because if like is Zolhan's technique a special animation where you do that big weapon swipe, or is it its own? And it's its own thing. It's all weapon pool, so it's based off of weapon attacks. There you go. So, and then dual wielding, when your character's doing that like cross chop thing. I totally didn't bump the mic. When you're cross chopping, it's still attack speed. because that's considered a weapon attack. I've played the whole expansion almost twice on Ultimate with 2 characters. I have not beaten by myself any Nemesis spawns or super bosses yet. Because, and this is sort of the thing you have to watch out for when you first go into it, the armor increase from 85 to 100 is substantial. So your gear you have at 85, it works great. Don't get me wrong. I still have a character, my main 8th array character has the full Iskander set still, except for the offhand. So he has the 4-piece Iskander set, straight from what he had before. He's level 100, he's beaten the game. So you can do it in your level 85 gear. But to take on the baddest of the badasses, you're going to need basically to be re-kitted out again. Because I've run into Nemesis spawns, and one of them I can't beat. It's one of the new ones, and I can't beat it. One of them, like, I beat it in co-oping. I beat another one in co-oping that I think I could probably beat on my own. But one of them I absolutely can't beat right now because he hits so hard that I don't have the armor right now to sustain. He 2-shots me. So what's going to happen is from 85 to 100, there's a big armor increase. It's like 300 per piece. So you're going to have to like, don't replace your gear, but keep that in mind going forward. Approaching it, I don't know about approaching it in hardcore because I don't play hardcore, but I would say approach it the same way you approach anything in hardcore. Very carefully. Maybe take your least favorite hardcore character, or one of your least favorites, and do like a test run through it. So with 2 people, it felt about the same as fighting the old Nemesis spawns at 85 with about 2 people. So they feel about the same. Because my character's DPS has gone up. Yeah, drink a bunch of whiskey and YOLO it. There you go. It's just, the whole thing is... like, DPS actually for me still went up as I went. But his gear was the same. Like, there were incremental upgrades to, like, his offhand, his rings, a couple defense items here and there, but for the most part, he's still in predominantly 85 gear. So my 8th array guy still has his warp fire that he's had since, like, last March. So he's had that warp fire for a really long time, and it's not gotten replaced yet. New boss is hard in Bourbon? No. Bourbon's still the hardest thing so far. At least for me. Did I cover all the Nightblade stuff for the Inquisitor combo? I think I did. Oh, yeah, another one. Oh no, that's Necromancer. I mean, a cheeky build, I guess. You could do Flames of Ignifar and pick up the conversion ability that makes the lightning vitality. And you got some vitality support in here, like with the blades and an enemy murder, but I wouldn't do that. Just, it's a weird cheeky thing. 5's enough. Trust me. Then again, I don't go for tier 3 devotions anymore. I go for a couple abilities that are tier 1 and tier 2 and then just do passive support from devotion. You'd be surprised what you can get with 5 more points. Okay, so I guess Nightblade's done. Arcanist. So Inquisitor-Occultist, to me, I think this is the most flexible, most versatile combo. For the obvious reasons of both classes being the tri-elemental classes. Yeah, that's actually probably a good thing, Parthenox. I'll tell you in Discord the boss and the joke I'm gonna tell when I get to it. Oh, and by the way, I haven't actually encountered... there's still one Nemesis spawn I need to find. Technically two, but I haven't... I have all the factions done except one. That is the pain in the ass faction to build up. So yeah, Inquisitor Beam's the thing. Because you have the Stormbox, convert the Stormbox to Aether, and you can run Albrecht's Aether Ray next to it. And there's enough support for that. You would run the Arcanist side exactly the same. You could possibly even work in your Trojan Sky Shards, because that's another lightning ability. Where's that full conversion? Never mind. If you wanted to use lightning, you could do that. Things like Inquisitor Seal, because you're going to be rooted, and shooting Inquisitor Seal can be very powerful with Albrecht's Aether Ray, because casting speed does work with the beam, but it's not important to the beam. So here's another thought I've had for a while now. Given the scaling of damages from 85 to 100, these abilities, the exclusive skills, I actually think their damages are irrelevant now. I think whatever the exclusive skills list as their added benefits. So in the case of Star Pact, it's cooldown reduction. In the case of Reckless Power, it's casting speed. In the case of Aura of Conviction, it's the physical resistance. In the case of Aura of Censure, it's the reduction to elemental resistances. I personally think you should base your choice of exclusive skill, if you're going for one, off of that. Because that being said, if you're going to do a lot of this Arcana stuff with the Inquisitor, Star Pact, I think, is the better option, hands down. Regardless of your damage types. I've kind of put this together.
It's your funeral.
Oh, thank you for the host, Fleur Delis TA. Man, I butchered that. Sorry for the butchery of your name, but thank you regardless for the host. Anyways, yeah, so Star Pact, to me, is sort of like, I have it on my Albrecht's Aether Ray guy now in place of Reckless Power. Only because all of his other abilities outside the beam are cooldown based. So if you look at the Inquisitor, regardless if you're doing beam or not, recharge. Recharge. That doesn't have a recharge. Never mind. So you got a recharge, skill recharge, skill recharge, skill recharge, skill recharge, skill recharge. I think all of the stuff that that you're going to use to support whatever your main attack is with this combination, because it's going to be on, you know, cooldown, you want to go for Star Pact, regardless of your damage types. Except for maybe Panetti's. That's the one exception where I'd say casting speed is more important. So if you were doing like Calidor's Tempest even with this, I'd still say go for Star Pact. I'm not talking about Lord Cthulhu, but I will say get hyped for the final boss. It's not Lord Cthulhu. Oh, I will, Fleur. I will. I wish I could actually play the game right now. No, it's Barnabas. You need at least 500 scrap to deal with him. No, it's not Log 2.0. Thankfully. Oh, and welcome, No Manual. It's not Log 2.0. It's pretty fun. Not gonna lie. Like Log was a hassle, and doing it over and over again is a hassle. This guy is actually fun to fight. Anyways, yeah, Arcanist-Inquisitor I think is, it's gonna be good. It's gonna work. I just don't know how well. Oh yeah, I've been a tester. Instead of a wall vagina, it's a Florianus. I mean, I'm sure I called the guy a variation on the term anus when I fought him. See, I can't talk about anything though. That's why we're in Grim Tools, not in the game, talking about this. Because Crate said don't talk about it until they show it. So like testers have had access to Grim Tools database for looking up items. GG Stash works with it. So the game's like almost done right now. Which is why the release date's next week. I think we're just doing some, or they're just doing some like last go-overs, final passes. But yeah, the GD Stash, or GD Tools, is going to have its database updated this week. So I'll do another one of these talkies with that to talk about the items. And we'll do more theory crafting then. Because the thing I will say is pretty much every class combination has gotten a set. So things that are like the Wrath of Agravax set or Light's Defender, there's a bunch of those thrown in there. In addition to other things that support all sorts of builds. It's like exciting. Like, I'm not part of the dev team, and I didn't completely participate in playtesting. I was using it more to like get this stuff going so I can hype the game. But even I'm like excited for the game to come out. Excited to have people see these things. You have to wait. No. Kinda. I've done some gambling at him, and he's only giving me things around level 75. I haven't noticed anything. Hi
there.
I haven't noticed anything that's been higher than that. What the fuck is this song even? Cult of Cthulhu. I don't remember hearing this at all in the game. I can't say what they're gonna do after this. I haven't seen a mythic pop off the Gambler yet. And I have no idea what they're gonna do after this expansion. I don't know, a night of drinking, I think would be the immediate thing. There are gonna be 2 roguelikes, from what I can tell. If there's a new Celestial Blacksmith, I haven't found them yet. Yeah. I see. Don't take that as writ. I'm guessing there's gonna be 2, because like there's a blockage to a thing that's obviously something you can go to, and then there's another blockage to a thing that looks like something you can go to, but I haven't figured out how to get past them yet. Just wild guessing that that's where they're gonna go. Because remember, there's 2 new enemy factions coming up. I think they mentioned beasts, so I can mention beasts as one. But yeah, I think there's a lot of build diversity in the Arcanist-Inquisitor just on the fact that everything's elemental. Yeah, there's a beast nemesis. I don't think I can say his name. or what he does. So yeah, Inquisitor-Shaman. I think this is going to be maybe a really great rifle setup with like Primal Strike and Savagery with Storm Spread. And you can also use, like, this is sort of like the Nightblade and the Arcanist combos because you get that, like, elemental support. I'm not spoiling anything, honestly. Like, me saying, oh, you'll like the last boss, I don't think is a spoiler. Soldier Inquisitor, I think, is going to be not bad. I think when they say 45 new bosses, they're including just purple named guys. And some you end up having to fight longer than others. It's like normal Grim Dawn. Arcanist-Necro, I have one. He's level 84. We'll get to him. I mean, I think I covered, like, it's pretty obvious where you'd go with this, to me at least. You'd probably want to pick up Savagery, combine it with Storm Spread. You could also use your runes and your tornadoes and turrets together. I think this would maybe be a weaker version of an Elementalist, though. Because to me, the Elementalist, I think, is a better version of the Inquisitor-Shaman's abilities. Just in my opinion. But yeah, that's where you'd go with that. You could do some minor vitality damage, shenaniganery. I think you could also go with the flames, focus on the lightning part, and combine that with this stuff. Alright, Necromancer, you're in, boy. So, Necro-Soldier, Death Knight. Any of you guys have ideas for a Death Knight? Because I have a couple. And if you're thinking it combines cadence with the weapon pool skills, you're correct. Because to me, Death Knight, like Blade Arc, and I have a reason for picking Blade Arc here. Blade Arc, Force Wave, and Bone Harvest, I think would combine together really, really well. Especially Bone Harvest and Force Wave. Because you can chunk out the Bone Harvest, chunk out a Force Wave. You can do it with a two-hander, like a big scythe, to get that maximal reapage. Or you can do it with a one hand and a shield, depending on what you want. Death Knight Hybrid's definitely something I've considered. So, I have a Spellbinder. That's the Arcanist-Necro. And I mentioned this before, but your skeletons are essentially disposable soldiers. You don't build skeletons to really keep them around. You build them to be a wall and be damage, and then they're going to die on you. They're kind of designed to be that way. They aren't squishy. It's not like they're just going to constantly die, though if you encounter an enemy that has a lot of dots, they'll probably die, but that's the whole point. They're there to die so you don't. Similarly, the Blight Fiend has the Unstable Anomaly. It's reducing by 10. So, Unstable Anomaly. So every 8 seconds you can summon up one of these guys, and they're made to die. Because they only live for a short period of time. So I think a Death Knight hybrid, this is going to sound funny, it's going to be like your Arthas, right? You're gonna treat your men, more or less, as a source of like almost a dot that's going to be a wall. It's almost going to be like having turrets that just can tank a little bit and then they die. So to me, a Death Knight, you're going to have your main attack, whatever it is. That's hybridized Death Knight. You're gonna have your main attack, whatever it is. Bone Harvest, Force Wave, combination of both. You want to maximize your reaping, you can go for Blade Arc with the scythes. You could even go for Cadence. But to me, like this, like if you're gonna hybridize it, you're gonna want to have your ghouls out and have your ghouls go out and die for you while you're still alive. I actually think it's a pretty cool concept. And I say Arthas as in Arthas from Heroes of the Storm. Because if everyone has played Heroes knows that Arthas has a heroic ability called Ghouls. And you summon up ghouls, which are disposable, and when they die, you get healed. So it ups your sustainability. For this, they don't heal you when they die. But, yeah, they're a suicide squad. You're going to keep these guys pouring out to basically body block for you. And that also, like, that being said, you're still going to be supremely tanky with this combination. Because you still have all of your passive abilities to help you out. It's just that, to me, combining these together is like, get your disposable soldiers out there. And you're not building pet damages, really. Or, no, you're not building pet health. Pet damages are fine. Pet health, though, I wouldn't gear in this. I wouldn't even bother with it. I'd still go for pet bonuses that enhance them, like offensive ability and damage, like I said. But, yeah, I would probably avoid... I wouldn't say avoid. I just wouldn't care about their health. I would go for Master of Death, I think, in this, because it is straight up damage to both your pet types. And I don't think I would actually go down... Or, no, Call of the Grave. Master of Death, I don't think I'd actually go for. I'd rather go for Illyrian's Rage or Maynard's Bulwark. So I would maybe take the Blight Fiend down to... I'd maybe go down to the Call of the Grave line. Because you can also pick up Siphon Souls, which will be a heal, because it's a Nova. I think I gotta restart this playlist, don't I? Nope. Still good in that playlist. So, to me, the Necro-Soldier is... I actually might build this. It's just that I just made a Spellbinder, so I don't want to make another Necromancer immediately. But yeah, I think it'd be a really fun concept for a build to hybridize it like that. If you're not hybridizing, like I said, Bone Harvest and Force Wave, or Bone Harvest and Blade Arc together, even though Blade Arc's bleed damage and Necro doesn't have bleed damage really, to me, those two together, it feels almost natural, because Bone Harvest hits in that basically same area Force Wave does. Okay, Raiden, thank you for coming. I'll see you later. Now you could also do Drain Essence with this, because Drain Essence doesn't have like a caster offhand requirement. So, yeah, there's a lot of options, I think, in the Death Knight. So, this is an interesting one. I believe it's Defiler? Yeah. So, the Necromancer-Demo. Anyone have any thoughts on a Necro-Demo? Snow KGL. We'll get to that. I think everyone's going to do that build, though. Same thing with the Shaman. I think you can go full pet with it. Yeah, you know, Death Knight, I initially only cared about this, the Spellbinder. But, the Reaper and the Death Knight are on my list now. Go Necro, get Flashbang. I mean, you're not wrong. So there are two things I could see doing with this. Trial Elemental, like a Saboteur. Or get, and this is the weird one, I theory crafted this out the other day. So Canister Bomb with Concussive Bomb is a stun. Stun Jax with full spread, not with the transmuter, is a stun. Mortar Trap Heavy Ordnance is a stun. You have 3 stuns in this class. Necromancer has a fleet of skeletons it can pour out. I call the build Stunatons, in that you have a ton of stuns, but also skeletons. So it's Stunatons. As in, you have an army of the dead, and you stun everything, and just let your army of the dead pull it apart. I can't think of another cheeky build to do with this, aside from going with, like, Fire Strike, with, Necrotic Edge, and just building elemental damage, and working in Bone Harvest. And then working in... I don't even know. Be very bad against bot. I mean, it would, but I think I think it'd be fine anyways, because I do a lot of this anyways, a lot of the concussive bomb and the heavy ordnance on my Aether guy, and it works. The only problem with doing something like that is getting your skeletons damage up. Can you get dual shotguns with Reaper, Kappa? I wish there's dual pistols for the Reaper. See, I don't think they'd put them in the game even as a joke, simply because it's dual pistols, and you need to find a way to get dual pistols on a not Inquisitor then. Yeah, and like I said, it's just a theory-crafted build anyways. Because the problem I have with the Necro-Demo is I don't know how to get damage out of it. Aside from doing the Tri-Elemental thing like the Saboteur has done. In a similar style. Just run Fire Strike with Necrotic Edge. Maybe Bone Harvest, like I said. Because there's no Aether damage in the Demolitionist. It's Chaos damage at the end. So yeah, I think Elemental is probably the way to go here. It could be. I don't think they've ever done that, though. I think if they were going to do a Reaper set like that, it would have to have a belt or chest piece that gave you the dual wielding ability. Well, you can do it with Gunslinger Talisman, but having the 2 pistols required. Oh no, you have to be able to equip them in the first place to get the set bonus. That's why I'm saying you'd have to need like a 3rd set piece. Though never mind, I'm talking on my ass. This set exists, the Barrelsmith twins. It's 2 pistols, and each one has the ability to, yeah, and each one has an ability that allows dual-wielding pistols. I totally forgot that exists, until I was like, I seem to remember a pistol set existing already, and the Barrelsmith twins do. What are the mythics for? They're for the Purifier, of course. Ooh, those are some interesting ways to take it, though. Okay. It has versatility, but it's the same versatility level that, like, the Occultist has. Or even the Shaman. Anyways, Necro-Occultist, there are 2 main builds here. 2 main builds. One is the pet build. So you'd obviously go for someone Hellhound, get your Bonds of Bizmeal, Manipulation. On Necromancer, summon Blight Fiend with your skeletons. You can just sit there, press the Summon Skeletons button while you sit there, and you do nothing. You'll get all that excitement and more out of that. The only difference is now you have Master of Death. Because Master of Death straight up gives you more damage to your pets. Straight up gives you... I I mean, it gives you stuff, but whatever. It's a pet build. I'm bored just talking about it. Hey, I actually like the Raven. It has a place. It has a place in using the Occultist with the Arcanist and with the Inquisitor. And to a lesser extent, maybe the Shaman. Would I get it with the Necromancer? No. Cold Pierce Knight. That actually works. I think I mentioned earlier that the Spellbreaker kind of does that already, though. I mean, if you like it, too, then more power to you. Yeah, I like the Raven. I actually like that there's an item that gives you 2 now. They showed that one off, so I can talk about it. Don't ask me the item's name. I can't remember. Excuse me. But yeah, the other one here is the vitality damage. What the hell is this thing called? Kabbalist. So, vitality damage Kabbalist, you can use Drain Essence, Siphon Souls, Harbinger of Souls, Spectral Binding, Spectral Wrath, Sigil, Soleils with Second Right, Doombolt, even Possession if you want to do the other one, as another exclusive skill. You have so much vitality damage here that it might rival the Conjurer. In fact, I think it might be even more immortal than the Conjurer, because not only do you have the lifesteal off of Sigil, Drain Essence just lifesteals on its own. Siphon Souls lifesteals on its own. So it might be a more active version of the Conjurer. Legendary two-hand swords. There are. There are, in fact, legendary two-hand swords. I'm not saying what they're for. They exist in the game, though. Also remember that, Abzen, that all the two-handers are transmutable with each other. So if you find something that works as a legendary two-hand weapon, you can make it a two-hand sword regardless. I actually like Nightshade's Reach. Oh, did you not know about the transmogs? No manual? Also, green weapons are king, by the way. And green offhands. Very, very, like, I'll throw this out there. I might have accidentally said transmute. I'll throw this out there that, barring one or two exceptions for very specific builds, I actually think going crafted greens is better for your weapons. There are things like Warp Fire. And there are some other legendaries that are strictly better for a specific build. But as a general... just rule for me, I actually look for greens first. Because they can get like kind of absurd. Especially now that MIs have special skill modification lines on them. Hey, Succotash, yep. Next Wednesday. Yeah, Raven build clobber. Maybe. Yeah, the Obsidian Cleavers are one of the big ones. I have a really good one. Yeah, but anyways, Vitality Necro with the Occultist. Parthenox, if you're still out there, wasn't that what you wanted to do as one of them? Didn't you say it played like a Warlock from WoW, and that really appealed to you? Yeah, mine is on my Blade Arc Witchblade. Which is ironic, given I have a Force Wave character that doesn't have one. Okay, yeah. Necro-Nightblade, the Reaper. How many Reapers are gonna be named? Die, die, die. Yeah, Blade Arc. I wanted to not do Cadence. There's just no other way to put it. I didn't want to do a Cadence Witchblade, which is the main Cadence build. Or main Witchblade build. And my Commando is my Force Wave character.
No one can stop death.
Okay, so the Reaper... Phantasmal Blades was mentioned because you can convert it to Vitality. This is going to work like the Trickster and the Witch Hunter and even the Spellbreaker, where you have all that lifesteal from your more totemy turrety crap, and then you're just think with the blades. The other big draw for me is Necrotic Edge with Amarasa's Blade Burst. And then you could work in some Bone Harvests. So you can effectively have this character that's just chop sockeying in melee with the Blade Burst, like a Spellbreaker does. But you've also got this attack proccing. And it's within your damage types. In fact, the only thing I don't like about this attack is it has a Terrify. However, you always have Shadow Strike to chase. You can also do some poison damage here. So if you do Nidala's Justifiable Ends, Merciless Repertoire, Nidala's Hidden Hand, with Ravenous Earth, and Summon Blight Fiend, you actually have a poison build in here. Oh, I didn't mention that Ravenous Earth does combo with Dregs. I just don't care about Ravenous Earth. I don't like this ability. I wish it was another ability. I'll just come out and say that again. Ravenous Earth, I personally think should not have been in the Necromancer class. And if they wanted poison in the Necromancer class, they should have done it the way they did chaos damage with the Demolitionist. Have it be right at the tail end of the class as an option. Just throwing that out there. But it was too late for me to say that opinion in the playtest, so I'm just throwing it out there as a mini review that I actually think Ravenous Earth should have been something different. We upload builds on YouTube, like whole videos, boss survival, not just beat the game, nemesis value. No one you can find make beat everything game. So first, PG Grayson asks if the Raven would have that Storm Spirit proc twice. I don't know. I should really test that out before Friday, so I could have that as an answer. Or if it's just having the two turrets, I'll have to go look. I'll upload all my builds on YouTube for the most part. Like there are one or two I haven't yet, and I don't care about super boss viability. I actually haven't beaten Avatar Mogdragon. And, I don't care to beat Avatar Mogdragon. I don't even care about Nemesis viability, really. Because for me, farming Nemesis, it's done on one or two characters. And I haven't even, like a lot of my builds, I haven't even gotten, like, the Nemesis rating on factions yet. I talked a little bit about it. I'm not big on pet builds, though. It's obvious what you go with, too. You just pick up your Blight Fiend and your Skeletons from the Necro, your Hellhound from the Occultist, or Briarthorn from the Shaman, and just the stuff to support pets. If it says pet bonuses, you equip it. And then you sit there and watch the game be played for you. I don't like pet builds in Grim Dawn. I like the idea of hybridizing the pet builds with the Necromancer. Specifically doing that with the Death Knight, the Soldier combo, and the Spellbinder, the Arcanist combo. Yes, Apostate could probably be viable. They're all viable enough. Because the Apostate combo, I mentioned it before. Necromancer. The whole thing here is you can do Tri-Elemental. So you have things in the Necro, like Bone Harvest and Necrotic Edge, that support cold damage. And you can actually turn, like, Essence Drain with Grave Chill into a cold ability. The Inquisitor, you have Chilling Rounds, Word of Pain, Rune of Hagarad, Inquisitor Seal. That's all cold damage based, but if you just build Elemental, you can actually do all 3 Elemental types between the two. So it works. Yeah, I talked about that with the Soldier Fleur. I mentioned that if you're hybridizing this, you do your Skeletons as disposable people. Your Blight Fiend with the Unstable Anomaly Transmuter, also just straight up disposable. So you can have all of these guys just die for you, while you're sitting here with like Force Wave and Bone Harvest to chunk damage in around them. Oh. Have a good night, Angel. I think you're the first Romanian I've had in my chat. Mostly it's Germans. I might start into that, actually. The Necromancer-Soldier, the disposable people. Anyways, Spellbinder, I'm running this. The biggest draw is here. So, cold damage and aether damage. So let's just get this simple crap out of the way. Cold damage stuff. Panetti's Replicating Missile, Trojan Sky Shards, combine it with Necrotic Edge or Bone Harvest, whatever. Aether stuff. Kalidor's Tempest. Devastation. Halbrux's Aether Ray. Spectral Binding. Soul Siphon. With the Transmuter, it turns into Aether. Harbinger of Souls. Vitality Aether. I would actually not pick this, though. I would still lean on doing Reckless Power over it. Or even, believe it or not, because I'm doing this on my current Aether Ray guy, Star Pact based on the number of cooldowns I have. You have your standard Arcanist defenses with Myvan Sphere and Mirror. You can 1 point Nullification, 1 point Arcane Will. You got Inner Focus for offensive ability. You need the casting speed or Aether damage and cast damage. You got those two. My current Necromancer Arcanist has... It looks something like this. Yeah, he's using Call of the Grave. I don't remember what I have Call of the Grave at. That's what I'm saying. It looks something like this. Keep in mind, actually, he has a couple points off of Albrecht's. Keep in mind, he's not done yet. So he looks something like this. Hey, Eyefire. Welcome back. So he's using his skeletons as a meat shield, essentially. With some minor support to them. And then he's using Albrecht's Aether Ray to pinpoint kill things. Oh, point on Devastation. I haven't decided if this is going to be the final build. Oh, probably a point here too. As you can see, the guide says we have 26 points open. It'd go up and down points-wise based on his gearing. Because I think he has a few free points off of his Iskander set, thanks to Myvan's. Oh, I have two had two Romanians in the chat. They're bone. Okay, good point, Heliocop. They're bone shields. They're gristle. They're gristle and bone shields. No, Angel left. I haven't completely decided or committed to this build though. Because I think if you're going straight up Aether damage here with this class combo, Siphon Souls with its Transmuter works far, far better. And Harbinger of Souls I think is great for Kalidor's Tempest, because Kalidor's Tempest deals weapon damage. And weapon damage helps you proc that lifesteal. Again, I'm still not committed to this build, though. We'll have to wait and see. There are little things you can do in here. Manifestation can get you some elemental damage on your pets. Escandras does apply to them. I mean, like, if you were to do Bone Harvest, you could actually use this third ability as a hybrid ability, too. So you can throw out your Bone Harvest and give your skeletons a boost. And that's true. That is true, I will say, for things that combine the Shaman and Occultist with pets, because you'll give the pets more vitality damage and just all damage, too. Which isn't bad. But yeah, I think it's an intriguing combination for its other abilities, too. There's some gearing in there for a bunch. There's a bunch of gear for this combo, too. There, like, a lot of the Aether Ray gear actually has the split between, or actually just had lines for the Necromancer added straight to it. So there is a lot of out-of-the-box legendary supports and mythic legendary support for an Aether Ray Spellbinder. I don't have all of it yet. Alright, Necro-Shaman, I think it's almost exactly the same as Necro-Occultist, if I'm being honest here. For the Necro, I'll get back to Necro-Soldier. I'll point out the Force Wave concept. But for the Necro-Shaman, if you do Wendigo Totem with Siphon Souls and Drain Essence, with Devouring Swarm, you can deal a lot of damage. You got Grasping Vines can just combine with it. You can do the pet stuff. You can do basically all the stuff you can do with the Occultist. I think a lot of people are going, oh, pet build goes straight to Necro-Occultist. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you can also go straight to Necro-Shaman. What's it? It's the Ritualist, right? Yeah. Ritualist can actually do a lot of pet-related stuff, too, if you're into pet builds. Because you can also work in Primal Bond if you want with your build. Or Master of Death. Either one works, I think. Really, Master of Death will get you that vitality damage on Summon Briarthorn, too. So Bone Harvest would actually affect it. That actually makes, now that I think about it, Devouring Swarm more effective as a main ability if you're doing a pet build. Because that just lowers vitality res. Yeah, that's exactly it, P. Grayson. 41. I'd say attack from afar with Devouring Swarm. Maybe even Drain Essence. Skellies. Summon Briarthorn. Use Master of Death to get your Briarthorn some vit damage. Oh, Fleur, you'll fit in this chat just fine. Force Wave Conversion to Hand Sword. Does it got a name? Would that be the, Okay, I know what the blade is. Never mind. Yeah, that could be a fun one. Anyway, yeah, since it's been brought up a couple times, let's go back and do Necro-Soldier. So, yeah, for the Force Wave combo, I can see doing it two ways. The first is to use Tremor with the two-hander. I can see using it with Tremor with the two-hander. And you're going to combine in Bone Harvest. Because they hit basically in the same... They hit basically the same area, right? It's that sort of wave out in front of you. And you can sit there and spam your Force Waves and throw the Bone Harvest out. Because Bone Harvests are always on cooldown. Even with the Transmuter. Now, I would actually consider avoiding Dread and Soul Harvest at that point. Maybe not. Maybe not Soul Harvest. I would avoid Dread, though. Also, Bone Harvest does deal weapon damage, so you can work physical into that. And Eternal Trauma. Or you could do a one-hander and a shield, and keep Force Wave on cooldown. So you'd have your normal attacks in there, and that way you could use Necrotic Edge or Reaping Strike, or even work in things like Zolhan's Technique and Markovian's Advantage. Though it's kind of a non-bow when you have an ability that comes up every few seconds or so. Ability or two every second while using these, because it takes away the chance of them proccing. But, because that's the big problem people have with Cadence, and Zolhan's Technique and Markovian's Advantage, is every third attack's a Cadence attack, and you can't combo it with that. But that being said, I do think it still works much in the same way. And I still think it's a fine thing to do. So you could easily build physical internal trauma damage in cold. Have Necrotic Edge. I'd maybe go that far. Maybe I'd go to Mark of Torment. Because I don't think I'd bother with... Well, maybe I'd pick up Spectral Binding. Because you're not dealing Aether damage. You are dealing some Vit, though. But this gives you more health and offensive ability. Yeah, Achenar Blade of the Luminari does convert at least the mythical one does have that conversion on it. It'll be an interesting thing to build around. I'd probably pick up Olieren's Rage in that case. I mean, you could go on a lot of these. I mean, you could even not go that deep in the Soldier and come over and go all the way to Harbinger of Souls. Because even though it is not cold-based, it's still vitality-based, which is damage you're dealing. And you have the lifesteal on Harbinger of Souls. Guess I'm just restarting this playlist. And then you could do... It is casting speed, too. Okay, so spammable version, if you're using Tremor, definitely come down and pick up Harbinger of Souls. That's a good point, no manual. Because Because I said this earlier. The damage types on these are not what you care about. For exclusive skills, don't pay attention to damage types at high levels. I think the damage doesn't scale enough to justify making it a damage choice. A damage-based decision. Do it for what the other things on that skill provide. Because a lot of times you'll also get that damage in regardless. So if you're doing even Bone Harvest with this, you're still going to have a lot of cold damage from your gearing, a lot of physical damage from your gearing, and a lot of eternal trauma damage from your gearing. For this, you strictly want to go for that casting speed to spam the force waves, and the lifesteal to sustain yourself. Yeah, so I would actually... I'd consider going down to the squad tactics line. You also work in blindside if you need it. And trust me, level 100 you'll have more points to work with. A lot more points. Exactly, Fleur. When you get into the thousands of points of damage, 100 damage is not going to mean much. Yeah, well, Warcry, I wouldn't go... I don't think you're dealing enough physical damage. You're not pure physical. I mean, I guess you could if you want to. It's only, what, 8 more points. Yeah, break morale. Warcry, I always recommend it in every soldier build because it's a screen-wide 33% hit bar, health bar damage thing, right? It's also sustained for you because that reduction in damage helps a lot. Like, a lot. So, I'd say stop at either internal trauma, blindside / squad tactics, or break morale. If you're doing the spam version. Because if you're doing the not tremor version, I would actually recommend going all the way to O'Learin's Rage. And then you would pick up... Like, we wouldn't do Necrotic Edge in this setup. And then I'd pick up Necrotic Edge. So I would actually... Even in this, I would only consider going down to Siphon Souls. Maybe even just to... Maybe even just to Necrotic Edge. Like, now that I'm giving it thought, I don't think there's anything way deep in here if you're doing the not spamming version that... Alright. Like... Oh, yeah. Boop, boop, and all the way... Like, I'd even consider making it look like this. For the not tremor version. That is true, but I do like the total damage on squad tactics. In that case, yeah, I could see stopping at the internal trauma if you don't care about the attack speed. Maybe. It's just, for me, like... Oh, and also remember, guys, you can respec the mastery bar now. So you could play around... with this. In this case, I do. The whole point to the total damage is because we're split across more than physical and internal trauma. I look at it as like... Because I did this with my Blade Arc guy, because he was doing physical internal trauma damage and chaos. Physical internal trauma damage, chaos, and vitality, I think. So he had a lot of damage types. So I was like... Thank you for the follow, Killer Bees. Welcome to the stream. So I was like, forever, Fleur. Forever and ever, you can go down. You can take it down to level 1. You can go that far down. Class choices can't be undone. But you can go all the way back down to rank 1. So going like that deep may not seem like a lot, but you can be like, oh, I'm going to go deeper to see if anything works for me. Nope, it didn't. I'm going to go back to 15. That's where my last bit of usefulness was. So you can fine-tune off the mastery bar now. You can even respec your attributes now with a special thing. But yeah, the whole reason to go for the total damage on squad tactics in this is because of the cold damage on things like Bone Harvest. Did they reveal that? Or has that been leaked out into the open? Because if you're talking about it, it means it's been leaked, I think. Otherwise, I can't confirm or deny anything involving your stash. Unless me saying, oh, did they leak that, confirms it. I think you're hearing rumors. But yeah, the not rumored things, respecking mastery bar and your attributes some way. There's a lot of extra stash space. It's now 5 pages per character, and you get a 5th page for shared, and the stash pages are bigger. But anyways, yeah, I actually like the Death Knight combo a lot. Yeah, you have five pages of personal. I have no idea what to do with it. Cause like I was like, cause you have to buy them with iron, and I'm like, I just bought them all with iron in my first character, my Aether guy, and I'm like, okay. I guess page 1 is going to be his augments. Page 2 is his trophy room. Page 3 is his weapons. Page 4 is his armor. And page 5 is his jewelry. And it's like, I look at the pages and it's like 5 weapons, giant gap. 5 weapons, giant gap. 5 weapons. Next page over is like helmets, giant gap. Chest pieces, giant gap. Gloves, giant gap. Pants, giant gap. Boots. Next page is like a line of jewelry, and then the whole page is blank. That's part of it, no manual. I have GD stash. I have that problem solved. I mean, you could play your mules. It's a couple hundred K to get everything unlocked. I think it's a 50, 20... Wait. I think it's 10, 20... 50, 100? I don't remember the cost. Or no, is it... Shoot. It might be 50 on the... Like 50, 20, 10, 5? So no, not even 100K. You could just use your stash tool to give your mules iron so they can mule... Wait. Anyways, yeah. I think I'm really looking forward to making a Death Knight now. Because I think it's got a lot of build diversity that's like unique to it and the combinations of abilities. Because when I look at like Necro-Demo, it can be really unique and weird, but it might not be effective. Necro-Occultist and Necro-Shaman are like generic in what they do, because like the Conjurer kind of does that already. The Necro-Nightblade has a lot to look forward to because of the cold damage synergies. And there's some vitality damage support in there. Same thing with the Necro-Arcanist for the Aether synergies. The cold synergies. And I guess the hybrid concept. But like the Necro-Soldier to me seems like it might be the most fun. Because you get these, like, I'm going to wade into the enemy and slaughter them with my giant swingy weapons, and my skeletons are going to die for me. You're basically Arthas. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, you basically are Arthas at that point. Just get a Bane of the Winter King sword. Well, no, you wouldn't want to actually have the sword. Get Bane of the Winter King as a transmog. There you go. You got your Frostmourne. I mean, the Reaper, too, I think is going to be pretty fun. I actually think Harbinger of Souls tied to Phantasmal Blades is going to make whatever lifesteal this had even more ridiculous. Yeah, you could go for a Crown of the Winter King. No, I would go for... Because there are going to be helmets that have a skull mask. Because you still want to go Death Knighty, right? See, I don't think I'd bother with that. If I were to go for a Cold Wave, I'd go for Drain Essence and then Grave Chill. That turns it into a big old cold attack. You lose the lifesteal, but you gain a slow, which is fine by my notes, and you still have the other effects of it. So I think if you gear Cold Vitality, you can actually get a lot out of the Reaper. Because you do also have Anatomy of Murder to up Vitality damage. If you wanted to keep this a Vitality damage thing. Oh no, it would be cold. It would be Cold Vitality. Never mind. It'd be so cool either way. Ha! Resistant Benjars, Paulders of Kings. Yeah, you know what the best part about that is? You can make those shoulders not look terrible. Like, you could have some Muzalaug shoulders roll nice, and you don't have the giant, like, cocoons on your shoulders anymore. I just think dual-wielding Necrotic Edge would be really awesome, too. Was this the new devotion tree? It's not. Oh, no, it is. Okay. I was looking for Murmur here. This one's big for Almarasta's Blade Burst, by the way. I put it on my Spellbreaker. And his Blade Bursts now enhance themselves. I was like, holy crap, where's Murmur? And it's like, oh, it's a little bit lower. Now, like I said, I don't go in for third-tier devotion trees anymore. So for a lot of these builds, the things I'm going to shoot for are like the Bard's Harp here. Do you mean in devotion? No manual? I can't think of anything offhand. The Bard's Harp, the inspiration ability. At max level, it's a huge amount of offensive and defensive ability when you get hit. Finally a gay friendly stream. I mean, you're not wrong. But the entrapment and slow resistance is really awesome. And you get a free, basically, energy potion out of it. Hey, Loris. I can't think of anything like physical damage wise. I'm looking around. See, I mean, the thing about physical damage is it's kind of already had good devotions. Like the like Maul, like Bull Rush, and then on guard, if you're doing the non-tremor version, you can get Trample. Your name is Dank Memes, and you don't know, well, you're not wrong. As an Avengers line. I don't think there is really anything that got more physical damage in here. I mean, the fist. The fist. Also, when you came in and said it like an insult, I immediately got defensive. Is it a Lebowski line? Now, there's a movie I haven't seen. Because I know it as that line Tony Stark says after Captain America opens the panel, and he goes, well, it appears to be running on some type of electricity. And Stark goes, well, you're not wrong. Okay, Dank Memes. I'm just going to throw it out there. Internet commentary is not exactly friendly and highbrow. Now, if I were gonna do the hybrid Death Knight, I would actually, keeping with that disposable soldiers concept. Oh, you're not wrong, you're just an asshole. Oh, there goes my monetization options. Anyways, okay.
Hi there.
Thank you for the follow, Overrated. Hey, Padma. Keeping with the disposable soldiers concept, I would actually pick up Raise the Dead. Because even though they're a Vitality Aether thing that scales with your bonuses, they're still bodies on the field. And you could hook it up to... You could hook it up to Force Wave. Or to Bone Harvest and have it work out really well. And you also get that little extra bit of lifesteal in there. I'd actually consider going to the Revenant, regardless of picking up that ability, strictly for the nodes in that constellation being incredibly good. Now, I would maybe also consider Ratosh with Will of Ratosh. Maybe consider it. See, it's third tier, so it might be a little hard to get into, and it's Vitality Aether. But having the Vitality Res reduction would actually enhance the damage of your skeletons, and enhance the damage of, like, your Bone Harvests. Also, the Toad. Because the Toad, this node right here, health and lifesteal. Yeah. Pretty good. And you can complete it for that little extra bit of vitality damage. Yeah, Ratash's requirements aren't bad. 10-6-6, or yeah, 10-6-6. Because you're gonna get, if you're going for the Revenant, that's 8. So you're gonna have, or if you're going for the Revenant, that's 8. So you're gonna have that 6 done. And I think if you go for, I'd still consider with this build going for the Bard's Harp. That'll get you your Law. And is it? Okay, it's Primordial's in there. Primordial and Ascendant. Yeah, I'd still consider it. Okay, I think I'd go like this. So we pick up that and we grab the Tortoise. So we're gonna pick up the Bard's Harp first. So we need 3 more Prime. Okay, we need that point on Law. So we need 3 more Primordial. Or no, yeah, 3 more Primordial. 3 more Primordial is obscenely easily gotten, right? Because we could go Panther and pick it up. We could go Bull and pick it up to pick up Bull Rush to add in another layer of damage. See, let's pick this up actually. We'll do this and we'll add this on. Well, we'd put it on Bone Harvest. So Bone Harvest now has an internal trauma damage proc on it. I think the only problem in doing that is we're now 1 point away on Ratash, right? Because it's 6 Law. Yeah. So we'd have to do a little jank on that. Or no, wait. I think completing this will get us Law, won't it? Yes, it will. So 6 Ascendant is also really easy to get. Because we have access to doing Targo's Hammer for blocking. If we don't... No, I already have that point there. I just pick up the Lion, honestly, to maybe round it out. Or we could pick up, like... Oh, yeah, let's pick up the Toad, actually. We'll pick up the Toad and the Hammer. That'll fit our damages. Hey, Jalex3, welcome. And this opens up Bard's Harp. This we would put in, like, Harbinger of Souls. We'd put it in Field Command. We'd put it in something we have up all the time. And then we can actually respec that point out. So now we have the 6. We have 3 on that. We need 7 more. And we need the 6 Chaos. So let's go get the Chaos stuff out of the way. So to get in here, we need 8. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can respec that. So we got that ability, and I would put that ability, I think, on... I know all the new gear dank memes. I was in the playtest. Still am in the playtest. Danny, it's gonna come out next Wednesday. So I'd put this in Force Wave since we're spamming Force Wave. And if we're not spamming Force Wave, it can go in either Bone Harvest or Force Wave. We have 18 points left. And we just need 7 more Ascendant. Which is incredibly easy to pick up. And then Will of Ratash is on attack, and I would put this on another attack ability. I might put this on Warcry because it's a debuff. I get to keep them. Oh, by the way, Fleur, this actually works on attack now. Come on. Come on. Okay. This ability's on attack now. It's not an enemy death anymore. So, we want this on Force Wave. For spamming Force Waves. Because it's on attack, you'll spawn as many skeletons as you can like that. Now, I personally would also consider not going for Ratosh, because even though this does make a lot of your damage better, you could skip on it. Just putting it out there. It's 15% chance on attack. So putting it on a cooldown ability increases that chance. Warcry hits the whole screen. So you hit the whole screen with a huge chance to have your debuff hit. That being said, I don't think I'd actually go for it. But it's a possibility. See, the one I would go with in this case is actually Staff of Ratosh, because we've already met the requirements. Staff of Ratosh, if you look, it gives you and your pets bonuses. But also, you get this nice, juicy 3% offensive ability thing here. So for me, I don't go for third tier devotions anymore. I strictly, so like my Aether Ray guy, he has Aether Fire, Arcane Minds, Inspiration from the Bard's Harp, which is new, and the Harvestman's Scythe. He hasn't gone for any other abilities. He just sticks to the lower end abilities now. Because, like, even for this character, even for a Death Knight, I would consider just loading out the Scythe. It's that good to me right now. Because of this massive amount of health regen you get. And then the defensive ability and movement speed. I'd even come up here and be like this. Even though we don't need the primordial points. Because we get the smidgen of avoidance with that movement speed. Yeah, I don't go for them because I think the point investment to get to them... Like, we have this unlocked, right? We have the Eon's Hourglass, which is great. As on its own. But to me, I just don't think what it provides is enough compared to, like... So let's say Aether Ray guy, right? Albrecht's Aether Ray needs an obscene amount of energy regen to be viable. He has something like 340. And that's where I'm finally comfortable with it. And he gets that partly through this node. And this node, or no, that node on the Scythe. But also completing the Scythe gives you a massive amount of health regen. Which I personally think is an undervalued stat. Because health regen in games like this is effective damage reduction per second. Because you're getting your health back, which negated the damage. So if you have a lot of health regen, you're negating a lot of damage per second. And it may not seem like it. You may think 400 damage per second, that's not a lot. Until you realize that's 400 damage absorption per second. That's 400 anti-damage per second. Effectively. Because even if a game has health regen and it takes you like a step away from enemies to get it going... Like, that's still effective damage reduction. It was like this in Diablo 3. Because life regen is a thing in Diablo 3, and it's like, it's not damage reduction straight up, but I use it as effective damage. Is there a way to do anti-damage? I don't think I should use the word anti-damage, because that makes it sound like it's a thing. Because anti-damage is essentially healing, right? But yeah, like, I tend to stick to just take what your character's abilities are and buff it. Rather than, like, go for some insane, like I was asked why don't I go for Meteor Shower with my Aether Ray guy. And I'm like, I don't want to invest 15 points into Eldritch and then have to invest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more points to get an ability. When I could take those 5 points and put them in Harvestman's Scythe, have a massive amount of health and energy regen, and I don't have to go for 15 Eldritch points. That being said, I think he actually is running, my Aetherite guy is running Oaklane's Lantern, so he did invest in Eldritch a little bit. I'd have to look at his devotion again. But yeah, my big ones for him are Oaklane's Lantern, Harvestman's Scythe, Imp, Widow, right now the Wraith, though I don't think he has it active, Staff of Ratosh, the Viper, and the Jackal. I wouldn't do that for every caster I have. Oh, and the Tortoise and the Harp. I wouldn't do that for every caster I have. That's a lot of... That's like... If I were to do Panetti's, Aether Ray, Phantasmal Blades, with some variations. It's not every single build that's like this. But for a lot of these builds that are caster-based, with a little tweaking, like I wouldn't do Aether Fire for Panetti's, or the Mines for Panetti's. Well, maybe I would do the Mines for Panetti's, because it hits 2 of Panetti's damage types. But yeah, so like Phantasmal Blades, I'd go for some of the Vitality stuff that's in Chaos. But for the most part, I'd probably pick the Tortoise, the Harp, maybe even Ratosh for a Vitality character, Staff of Ratosh. If you feel like you need to redo your devotion points. But yeah, just to throw it out there, I'm like 2 of the things I've sort of come to a conclusion on are exclusive skills and 3rd tier devotions. Because I mentioned before that exclusive skills, for those of you that didn't hear me say it, you can have 1 skills. It's not about the damage anymore. The damage doesn't scale enough at level 100. So for my Albrecht's Aether Ray guy, despite being predominantly Aether and Fire, he's using Star Pact because the cooldown reduction is more valuable for him than the casting speed. For this character, if we're doing Force Wave Tremor with the spammable Force Wave that scales off casting speed, we want Harbinger of Death over O'Learen's Rage, because this provides us casting speed and lifesteal, whereas O'Learen's Rage would provide us with offensive ability and movement speed. And offensive ability is awesome. Movement speed's great. But to me, if we're doing Tremor, I would much rather go for the faster Force Waves that steal health for sustain than just... Offensive ability is essentially damage. And I just said damage doesn't matter as much. Though offensive ability, like, it's all damage effectively. I'm not knocking offensive ability either. I'm just saying that I think, because casting speed is technically straight damage too. But yeah, I think for spammable Tremor Force Wave, I would definitely go on the Master of Death side, just for the what that provides over the damage types. I'm not saying neglect your damage types either, but for exclusive skills, I just personally think the damage on them, it's not irrelevant, it's just probably tertiary now in decision making for that. For 3rd tier devotions, I just don't find them as valuable for the point investment. O'Learen, it's okay. I actually I've never, I think, used either of these to an extent. The Unknown Soldier and O'Learen. I have, however, used Light of the Empyrean and Tree of Life. I do recommend, if I had to pick one 3rd tier devotion tree to go to, I would recommend Tree of Life. I have it on a bunch of characters. It's literally life-saving. Also, I'm not saying you have to do this. This is just my personal preference, is I don't go for 3rd tier devotions now. I think I don't know that I would say they need an upgrade. Maybe if the damage scaling was better. Yeah, Abomination for poison builds is an example of one you would go for. Or it's on this one. Because that Poison Nova is really good. Even though I don't think my Poison build runs it anymore. Homemade bread, Clobber. Homemade bread. Homemade bread is delicious. Actually, since you mentioned poison builds, Clobber, the new Murmur constellation with Rumor here, I think is going to be gold star, absolutely on every poison build, absolutely on every cold build. I'd probably, like, and also what's great about it is, if you look at its requirements, it's 6 and 3 on Eldritch Chaos. Manticore is 6 and 4 on Eldritch Chaos. You're 1 Chaos point away from being able to get the other really insanely great Poison Acid ability. And their Poison Acid debuff stacks. Because this is flat. This is percent. That means they stack. I run them both on my Spellbreaker, and it's actually really good. I need to get them both on my Witch Hunter now. And I'd maybe tweak things for this guy as I go. Yeah, I think that's gonna... Wait. I know Magistrate Censure. I just need to look it up again. I need to see if it's stackable. With Dismay? Yeah, I can see that working. It doesn't have a debuff on it. Hey, Sirach. Oh, also, hey, Undead Clown. Yeah, Magistrate Censure's pretty good with that. But Magistrate Censure stops being useful around level 70-ish. I know there's gonna be... Oh, thank you for the follow, Undead Clown. Magistrate Censure, I think if you do a legendary poison weapon... Because they're gonna be... Oh, that's for Reapers. It looks like there's going to be 2 or 3 new poison sets. Mad Queen's Claw. Definitely be high on that list. I don't actually know what the Death Knight set is. Oh, also Clobber. That's an interesting item. Mythical Agony Clobber. It's a level 94, so it's going to be solid at endgame. No, not publicly. I only get to look at them off screen and taunt you guys over them. Even though, actually, one of the rules for the playtest was I can't hold it over people that I was in it. Francis Gunn. Dual wield bleed axe cadence warder. Try a trickster. Just saying. Mythical Francis Gunn. I don't think that's gonna be a thing. No. I'm trying to see if there's anything that would work for a Death Knight. Ura Baruch set works for a Death Knight. Holy crap. It's fast attacks, you apply it, then you just run away. I'm looking to see if there is what the Death Knight set is, and I can't find it. I can't find it at all. Oh, right. I have that weapon. Oh, right. I know what the weapon you would use for, and I can't talk about it. Is that taunting you guys? Is that holding it over your guys' head? Do you guys feel offended by that? Because if so, I can really just turn the knife. I'm hoping more that I'm hyping the game than anything. That was the whole point of doing this tonight, was actually to hype Grim Dawn a bit. Since I haven't been able to actually be in the game and playing it on stream. To torture everyone, Fleur? I hope that's why, because that's the other goal. You know, it's funny, for this setup, I don't think the Uruk set stats were released, but I think I would actually go for that more than a soldier-based set, because you get an ability on it that gives you a damage absorption barrier. A big one. Against Vitality and Aether. And it's fairly agnostic towards... I mean, it's Vitality Aether, but it's fairly agnostic towards pets, not pets. There is a new Force Wave set. There's also the mythical Justicar armor. It is not for a Witchblade. Though don't let that stop you though. Cuz it's still physical internal trauma damage based. I don't know what the Witchblade set is either. Cuz there's not one in the game right now, right? I haven't looked anything Occultist up yet. I don't care about the Occultist. Doing another look through chest pieces, because pretty much every armor set that matters has a chest piece, right? Oh yeah, they all have shoulder pieces too. That'll be my next stop. Yeah, so in summation, I'd probably say the build, the class combo I'm liking most of the two new classes is probably the Death Knight, followed by the Spellbinder. Because I'm not jazzed about the Inquisitor. Just putting that out there. Because even after seeing it, it feels like it's more of a it feels just like it's a different Demolitionist. Oh, Blade Masters, you're gonna be happy. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like, Sirach. That's what I call it, is it's a second class. Because the Inquisitor, to me, it's like, take any of the other classes, click the Inquisitor to it to enhance it. Blade Masters might have a lot of fun with that set. Hyping. I'm hyping. I actually want to redo my Battle Mage, seeing what some of these armor pieces are. Inquisitor is a +1. And the Necromancer doesn't know what it wants to be. I've said it before, I actually think the two classes are the weaker... Like, the two classes are the weakest part of the expansion to me. Now, you can take that as, oh, Wolf hates the two classes, or... oh, that means everything else is amazing. Because a lot of the stuff is amazing. Yeah, the two classes, like... I think Diablo 3 did the Necromancer better. I said it. Like, I just think this Necromancer, it has half of the stuff a Necromancer wants, but the other half just doesn't mesh as well. Yeah, the gearing is what you should be excited for, because there's a lot of really good gear coming. The gearing in the areas, I will say this. The gear and the 2 new areas are great. Noted G-tier YouTuber hates classes in obscure game. There, 9gag. I wrote the title for you. Yeah, I definitely feel that that's a weird one. I definitely feel that the classes aren't the thing that brought me into the expansion more. Because initially when I tried the Necromancer, I was just nonplussed about it. I was really excited for it too. And then once I got into the expansion content, I was like, I want to play this more. But with my 8th array guy. So I played it with my 8th array guy, and I had a lot of fun. And in my Spellbreaker, and I had a lot of fun. In case anyone's wondering what I'm doing now, I am looking to see if there is a Death Knight set. I saw a Death Knight weapon. I actually took days off of work to play the expansion on stream, by the way. So next Thursday and Friday, I'm starting my streams early. That's a cool name. Embercore? Yeah, Clobber. I am also, like, my... Holy shit. Get hyped, pet build people. Oh, I so want to just copy paste the line I saw on this item in the chat. I'm assuming Mythic Warborn's awesome. I don't even have the normal Warborn complete.
Hi there.
Thank you for the follow. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. See, I don't know if I were to copy and paste a line in the chat, it would ride the line between me trying to hype and me breaking the promise I made to not show anything. No, I'm looking at Grim Tools, like the private database right now. Because they're going to release it later in the week. So it's like... I'm going to have to look at Trojan's Mantle, because I think they changed the art for it. But then again, I never really wore Trojan's Mantle, so... Yeah, the guy that did it has been in the playtest too. Damn it. Okay, the line, it's you get another thing that already exists. You get a +1 of it. I'm not saying anything else. Yeah, I didn't see a Death Knight set.
Hi there.
Fightmaster 11. Mythical Empower. I have the Mythical Grimoire of Ognapesh. That's actually dropped for me. That's another thing. I don't actually... Well, we can... He'd be in here as Xantai, wouldn't he? Alright, I have chat broken away, so I don't need to resume the page. Redo the zoom on the page. Let's see. Viewer list. Unless he's got a Smurf account, I don't see him in here. No, you're too nice, no manual. Hey, John Odell. Now that one I don't care if it gets out to this or that. But anyways, yeah, the Necromancer... Okay, the big thing with the Necromancer for me, it's Blight Fiend and it's Ravenous Earth. If the poison abilities were not in the Necromancer, if Ravenous Earth were cold, or if it were a bone ability, if it were just something that wasn't poison, I think it'd be really... it'd be a good step in making this class more Necromancer-y. And then the Blight Fiend, if they just made it a Golem or a Blood Fiend, made it something that wasn't poison-based. I just think poison should not be in this class at all. John O'Dell, I hinted at maybe an item that I can't say... I don't want to say the line of, because I don't want to break my promise to not reveal anything for being in the playtest. I'm just trying to hype the game with teasing. Being like, oh man, you guys have no idea what's coming for pet builds. See, I just think if Ravenous Earth were... I don't want to say Bone Spear. But if it were like... Not Teeth... Bone Prison. I'd love a Bone Prison. If it was Bone Prison, just something like bones rise up and clamp enemies. It doesn't have to be like the Bone Prison from Diablo 2, where it's like a bone wall in a circle. Even if it worked exactly like Blade Trap, and it was just called Bone Prison, I think I'd like it a lot more. I'm basically saying that, Sirach. I'm like, man, you guys are gonna get a whole lot of cool stuff. See, the thing is, John O'Dell, if they made it... So you know how, like, the Demolitionist has chaos in it? But it has chaos at, like, the tail end of it? Where it's, like, Brimstone, Agonizing Fire, and Hellfire Mines? If they did poison like that, I'd be all for it. Like, if they made the third... Like, if they made Soul Harvest... Maybe take Soul Harvest and make it the middle. take Dread and make it the end and turn Dread into a poison ability, I'd be fine with it. Or if they had like a Bone Prison, and the third thing was a Ravenous Earth, like call it Ravenous Earth or whatever, I'd be absolutely 100% behind that. Yeah, like that, like the poison on the third thing of Bloody Pox. Why would you do that? Huh. Get ready, Panetti's replicating missiles, people. Holy crap. No, it's not a set. It's a single item. It's a level 84 item, so it's not going to be available early. Thankfully. Panetti's is fine. I made it with a Spellbreaker. I think I'd prefer doing it on a Sorcerer in retrospect. But I have a Sorcerer already, and he's using Albrux. It's a good thing I don't use Outcast Secret anymore. I'd be pissed about having to get a mythical one of those. Oh, by the way, there are mythical versions of all three, soon to be more, of the legendaries that drop off of the unique bosses. There has to be to keep them in step with the other items. Oh, that's what that does. Yes. In Ultimate, all the mobs in all areas scale with your level. I think they go up to about one... I think they go up to, like, 110? I'd have to actually look at the levels. I don't pay attention to that, really. Would that be the pre-Necro with using Raise the Dead devotion with Phantasmal Blades? Because I did that. Dread Essence is awesome. It's one of the better things they added to the characters. That's why with Peanut Butter Lades, you add in more like Electras. You add in like maybe an ability with Elemental Seal to just chunk damage in. Get something undeflectable. That's what I'm saying. But anyways, yeah. with the Necro, I do think if it didn't have poison, it'd be a better class. And then with the Inquis, I mentioned it before. I think if they dropped maybe the runes or the words and made those gun skills, it would have been amazing. Like the Shaman, right? Because the Shaman has... the Shaman has the Primal Strike ability, which is strictly a two-hand ability. I think if the Inquisitor had two abilities that were gun-based, just you have to have a gun to use it, it would have been a better class. They do have the gun passives, but again, the Shaman has two-hander passives. And I mean, the Soldier has shield passive or shield abilities. Technically, Force Wave is one, and Maynard's Bulwark and Overguard are others. So, like, they could have easily done it where you put a Transmuter in to make it a melee ability. Yeah, a default weapon attack, and then something that used the special casting animation. Like maybe shoot the gun up and a mortar goes out. I don't know. It just feels like it feels like they added two casters in. They added a pet class and a caster. Shaman stuff is ranged though, because it's two-handed melee or ranged, and then two-hand melee or ranged, and you can use savagery with a one-hand range anyways. Okay, no manual. Thank you for coming. It was fun. I'm pretty much done, I think, for now. I can't believe I made it almost 3 full hours of just me talking. Now, Primal Strike proccing weapon pool skills would definitely not be a thing. See you, Vezrelix. Which skills are your favorites so far? In the expansion, I would say Siphon Souls and Drain Essence from the Necro. Least favorite on the Necro, definitely Ravenous Earth and Summon Blightfiend. Ill Omen has a place. I actually got some value out of it, though I don't use it now. On the Inquisitor, maybe the Stormbox. I really am not big on the Inquisitor. I'm going to play a Spellbinder next week on stream for you guys. I have him at level 84. He's ready to enter Ultimate. Mostly. I have to get some augments. And then I'm going to play a Death Knight at some point. I don't see myself combining with the Inquisitor on anything. Older classes, though, I'm going to play a lot of. My Aether Arcanist, who's level 100 now, is going to definitely get a lot of play still. My Spellbreaker, my Amarasta Spellbreaker, who is also level 100. A lot of play coming out of him soon, too. I'm gonna, actually, I have it partially recorded. I'm gonna do a non-streamed run-through of the expansion with my Druid, who uses, like, meteors, totems, and devastation, all that jazz. He's gonna get a lot of play, and I might even make him savagery-based in the future. So to answer your question, Sirach, I'm gonna do a Necro Spellbinder, mostly for you guys to see a Necro. I do, Sirach, because it's the game. I'd say my role in the playtest was less about playtesting and more about what I'm doing right now. Or I'm like, okay, guys, let's get hyped. Let's chew on these builds and let's spit out the results and hyping the game and basically queuing up videos. Down with cheating beta testers. I didn't cheat that bad. I actually... Okay, I didn't honestly level my Necromancer up, but still. He's mostly honestly leveled. I skipped some bits in Elite, maybe. Rip Parthenox. Necro-Occultist. We can redo it real quick. Big draws, Drain Essence with Siphon Souls, and then Sigil of Consumption. Combine all this with Soleil's Witchfire. Probably throw in Blood of Dreeg. Probably throw in Ill Omen. Keep enemies away from you. I don't think I'd go for Harbinger of Souls over Possession.
Hi there.
That's the vitality side of things. Thank you for the follow, Wolfster8. Welcome to the stream. The pet build side of things is what you would think. Raised Skeletons, Hellhound, Raven, Bonds of Biesmeal with Manipulation. Vulnerability would be really big. You curse your enemies. You suck all the life out of them. I think that's going to be the fun version of the Cabal. Is that the Kabbalist? Kabbalist? Yeah, Kabbalist. But yeah, there's a lot you can do in here. And you said you wanted to make it like a Warlock from WoW, and I think this is how you do it. With Drain Essence, Siphon Souls, your Sigil, that sort of thing. Cooler looking animation. Okay, I'm not going to argue there. Yeah, and I was talking about how exclusive skills, I think you should choose them based on the non-damage functionality they bring. So for this, I wouldn't consider the vitality and aether damage and the conversion that much. I would consider the attack damage converted to health and the casting speed. And then for possession, I wouldn't consider the damages anymore. I would consider the chaos res, the skill disruption protection, and the damage absorption. It's the same thing, because my Aether Ray Arcanist, despite being heavily fire aether, I mean, he uses lightning now a lot. So he's fire aether lightning, but he doesn't use Reckless Power anymore. He uses Star Pact. Because Star Pact has the cooldown reduction. All of his support abilities beyond the Aether Ray are cooldown based. So the casting speed is less valuable to him than the cooldown reduction. So it's cooldown reductions. Yeah, you could do that, I think. Because the, we talked about a lot with the Death Knight, the Necromancer-Soldier, and how you can build, like, say, Force Wave with, Bone Harvest. Because they hit the same, like, style, right? And then you can augment with, like, Warcry and all your passives on Soldier, right? But you can also get your skeletons out. And skeletons, the thing you gotta remember is they're not permanent, really. They last forever because they don't have a... They don't have, you know, a lives for timer. What I mean is, they're gonna die. So your skeletons are essentially disposable soldiers. So the idea with the Death Knight is to play it like a Death Knight from WoW or Arthas from Heroes, where your skeletons are your ghouls. You summon up your ghouls so they die. They protect you. They do deal damage, but they're not there to be permanent pets. They're there to be temporary. So you would also use the Blight Fiend with Unstable Anomaly as 3 more just things that are meant to run in and die. So the soldier the soldier necromancer effectively can fight with their Force Wave Bone Harvest, maybe even Bone Harvest and Blade Arc if you want, and have your disposable soldiers tank for you. I mean, you won't get heals like a Death Knight / Arthas, but you will get that same feeling, I think. How well balanced the classes are late game? Undertuned. They'll probably get buffs. It's like the Arcanist and the Shaman were way undertuned too. If you can believe it, the Arcanist really sucked when it first was released. My Arcanist has like 500 deaths. Maybe about 300 of those was early access, before the Arcanist was buffed up to be good. They're not as poorly undertuned as the Arcanist and Shaman were. The big thing, like, what classes are OP? Arcanist, Demolitionist, Arcanist, Nightblade, Occultist, Shaman, maybe Soldier Demolitionist. Those combos. Yeah, the thing is though, like, they'll tank for you and die, and like they're on a really short cooldown, right? They're on a really short cooldown, so it's not going to be 18 seconds. It's going to be like, yeah, it's not taken into account here. So, you reduce it by 6 seconds, so that's a 12-second, and then you reduce it by whatever your cooldown is otherwise. So, like every, let's say 10 seconds, you'll get another 3 skeletons out. And your summon limit is going to be 8, possibly more. Yeah, Myvan's Sphere was 50% damage reduction for something like 10 seconds. And then it had a 15 or 16 second cooldown. The idea was Mirror of Herocrates was an oh shit button that just saved your life for 3 seconds and went on a long cooldown. Myvan's Sphere was it gave you a lesser amount of damage reduction for a longer period of time. And then you would, you'd have, like, these guys. Maybe not maxed out. Like, maybe do, like, a 10 shot on them just so they have a little damage. And then you'd grab this up. And I'd maybe say, with this variation, you could probably stop here in the Necro side. No, wait. Let me do a kind of a pseudo-real version of what I'd do. So we come all the way over here. This goes to, like, that, maybe. $83 points left, so let's jack that all the way up. Let's do that to there. That, like that. I'm taking into account, whoops. I'm taking into account +2 to all skills. So that's going to be a little different. Now with this version, we're not using a shield, we're using a two-hander. Yeah, we're actually gonna We're putting points in this because this is vitality damage, which is one of our damage types, technically. Or no, wait. I was gonna say it's offensive ability, but no, we have to actually do... something like that. I don't know if I'd actually put points on... I definitely would put points on Soul Harvest. But I don't think I'd put points on Dread, if I could avoid it. Did I pick a shield passive skill? Oh, whoops. So yeah, I'd maybe 1 point those and let plus skills take over. Maybe do that. You have 9 points left over to play with. Probably about another 6 points or so to work with. G-tier YouTuber, incompetent at indie game. He plays a lot. So yeah, this is a workable setup. See you later, John Odell. Like I said, I think I'm basically done for tonight. See, it's hard to gauge now what's OP and what's not, because there's a lot of gear that opens up builds late game. And there are sets that take stuff that exists now that's ridiculously good and makes it better. And then there are sets that take new things or old things and bring them up a level. So I mentioned my Spellbreaker. Like, there's a Spellbreaker set now. It's a Spellbreaker set. My Spellbreaker was ridiculous before. He's ridiculous now. And he's going to become more ridiculous once he gets the set together. I just need the damn blueprint for the helmet to drop, and then the amulet to drop. And actually, I know you guys didn't remind me, but thanks for reminding me. I kind of have to go make a little comment on it. Because there's one set bonus on it I think is weak. There's fun stuff coming for the Trickster Parthenox. They get a set. Like I said, I think almost every combo gets a set. There are a couple that don't. I didn't see a Death Knight one. I'll maybe go and check again. But I know there's one for the Trickster. It's actually not cold based. It has nothing to do with the Winter King stuff. And in case anyone's wondering, the soundtrack is now on YouTube. SoundSkew put it up. That's what I've been listening to this whole time. Firefox, you okay, buddy? Seems like you're struggling on this one song. Nightblade's unique skill? Nightblades don't really need an exclusive skill. What a bizarre ass error message. Whatever. Yeah, I was listening to that the entire time. SoundsQ put the soundtrack on their YouTube page, so you guys can go and check it out. I don't recognize some of the songs. Yeah, some classes just don't have exclusive skills. Like the Demo and the Nightblade don't. Actually, they're the only two, right? Has them, no, yes, yes, and yes. Yeah. Demo and Nightblade don't have them. Honestly, though, Ulzin's Chosen should be turned into one. Because it essentially is one. It's just, I think it should have passive bonuses, but keep its unique features. And I guess the Dual Blades line kind of makes up for the lack of exclusive skill for Nightblades. But there is space for one right there, should they ever want to do one. And in my opinion, they probably should. For Nightblades, I don't want to dual wield. Don't want to go in melee. I mean, actually, I guess Merciless Repertoire is kind of that too, when you really think about it. I don't think so, Sirach. It's not actually anything. Like I mentioned before, a couple 100% damage wouldn't actually change it that much. You just remove the all damage and keep the other features in it. The ridiculous thing about the Demolitionist is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transmuters. Like, almost every ability they have has a transmuter. Yeah, it wouldn't make a difference. It would just make it so that it's an exclusive skill. And tie it in with the other classes. So yeah, Grim Dawn's looking good for the expansion. On Friday, I'm gonna pester Xantai again. I'm assuming they're gonna do a live stream. On Friday, I'll pester Xantai again about streaming the game. And if it's still a no answer, I will go into the database, because it'll probably be up by then, and we'll talk about items. And do more theory crafting based on that. For Grim Dawn. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do a drawing stream. So I'm going to sit down, point my camera at my desk, and draw in ink, because it's Inktober. I have a request from Clobber to do something. And it's going to be a Dwarf Sorcerer, but I'll probably be able to do maybe 2 other drawings tomorrow during my 3-hour stream. Thursday, I'm probably going to play Heroes of the Storm with Kavo. And we're going to just pick random heroes and have fun. So I stream every day starting between 5 and 6 o'clock EST, and I finish between 8 and 9 EST. Eastern Standard Time. And right now, this is the schedule for this week. Next week, no idea what I'm doing Monday and Tuesday. But Wednesday will start into the expansion. Regardless of anything else. If I'm given the go-ahead, yeah, my flat Midwestern accent. And I occasionally say the words pop. And I say caramel, 2 syllables. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say pronounces things correctly. My enunciation is horrible. It's something I've really worked on over the past couple years too. Like comparing the way I talk now on stream, compared to like when I first started, it's laughable. I even just almost said comparing wrong. So I think it's because I have a fairly severe overbite. Which means my jaw works more to talk. Now, of course, next week, if I'm just given the go-ahead to stream, I'll just fucking stream Grim Dawn all week. But yeah, next Thursday and Friday, I took days off. So I could stream early. But yeah, Friday I might be late. Depends on how long Blade Runner runs from when I see it. I'm gonna go see Blade Runner 2049. I'm obligated to see that movie. Given that Blade Runner is my favorite movie. That means I might miss a Crate live stream. Wolf overbite. Pretty much. I mean, look. Front teeth touching is just... I mean... It's probably hard to see on the tiny camera, but I'm not making that big. I try to make it to them because of the YouTube channel. Just to be a presence. They do it at a weird time. It's like Fridays at 2. Now, Monday and Tuesday next week, I have a Bloodborne playthrough I want to start. That's different from a normal one. And I also have Alien Isolation to try and do. Those two games, I'm going to play more towards Halloween. Like, I'm going to give Grim Dawn like an entire week to itself. And then I'm going to go back to rotating on games again. Yeah, there's most of the streams it's like Grava building bridges. Like not figuratively, but I mean literally he builds bridges in his custom map. To the point where I'm surprised it's not an actual joke in Grim Dawn right now. But anyways. I think that covers everything. Any final thoughts or questions, anyone? Before I head off? The expansion's gonna ruin what you have going on. Imagine you have 3 build videos recorded. One was edited up, and then they say, "Oh, here's the X pack. By the way, James, you can be in it." And then you start playing the X pack, and you realize, well then, this is all irrelevant. I think it was my Spellbreaker and my Commando were definitely on the chopping block there. I minded it. I wanted it this summer. But that's because I wanted to record it. Did you ever go over Inquisitor? I did. Inquisitor-Demo is like... Inquisitor-Demo, I think, is the one everyone's going to go with. And the main draw to me is like Fire Strike with the weapon pool skills, specifically Bursting Round and Storm Spread. And you end up playing it like a Pyromancer. And then you can work in like your bombs for support. But also Flames of Ignifar is fire and lightning, which is the demo. Let's go over Demo-Necro. I don't think we need to go over Demo-Necro. Flashbang and Necro stuff for summons and demo stuff. That's basically the two things. The other one I could see is Tri-Elemental. And I think everyone's cutting that short because the Saboteur did that, and the Saboteur almost became the meta. Because Tri-Elemental Saboteur was insane. I think the only problem with that setup is you don't have Pneumatic Burst and Shadow Dance. That was a Tumblr message. It's weird that I would get that right now. What? Are you thinking of the Sorcerer? Because I run a Sorcerer as my main character. He doesn't need any Fire to Aether stuff. Tri-Elemental was... Like, it literally means cold, lightning, and fire equally. The reason I say that is because of the Necrotic Edge ability with Bone Harvest. And you just ignore the cold or the vitality damage on both. And you focus on the cold damage. No, that was me. That was on my end. It's weird that it would happen given I don't have the Tumblr page in focus. Yeah, I actually like off-meta stuff. So things like Tri-Elemental Necro, Demo-Necro, Defiler, I actually am like, oh, that's kind of a neat thing. Hey, Siegfried, Caliber. About to shut the stream down. We're in, like, the final I'm asking people if they have questions phase. What do you run as your Sork main? Albrecht's Aether Ray. And it's supported by Electra's Flash Freeze, Mirror of Arachtes, Thermite Mines, and Mortar Trap. Yes. That's the build now. The Mortar Trap and Thermite Mines are for destroying groups of enemies, along with Electra's Flash Freeze, against enemies that are freezable. Oh, Canister Bomb. He also has Canister Bomb. Canister Bomb blows crap up and stuns it. And he runs Star Pack now too. I remember when the blades were meta. I know, because I ran it as my first playthrough character. I ran it, like, that character's so old, Reckless Power was a different ability and Star Pack didn't exist. Yeah, it was 9's. I think it was 9's. I think that's the build he still really loves and runs. Back when that transmuter actually converted to cold damage instead of vitality damage like it does now.
Hi there.
Thank you for the follow, Grills. I thought about doing a melee sork, but I figured what was the point? Because I have a really good sorcerer right now. Because to me, the big sorcerer builds that are like crazy powerful are Albrechts and Calidors. Yeah, I thought about doing that. Because I think you can get like 50% cooldown now. I mean, my Aether Ray guy does it unoptimal and he has 40. Oh, Blackwater Cocktail's good too. I mean, Fire Strike is really good. I was streaming music earlier too. I had the Grim Dawn soundtrack going. That was just released today. Or at least uploaded to YouTube today. I shouldn't say released. Yeah, Stunjax is actually pretty good too. But, like, Calidor's has a set, right? In the Sorcerer. And now that you can respec mastery points, I think you just need one character class for each class combo now. Because you also have an immense amount of stash space that you can put all your gear in. So you can just swap your builds on one character now. Provided you have the iron for it. Yeah, you can respec the mastery bar at the bottom. Respecable. Down to 1 point. You can also respec attribute points now, but you need something special to do it. Yeah, I'm going to take advantage of it. Because I had ideas for a druid. And I have a really good druid. And now I can just make the other build on that druid. Maybe. I'd probably say Mythical Warborn is still ridiculously good. See, I had to say maybe with an asterisk because there are more sets now coming up. I was thinking of making my druid savagery based. We'll have to see though. Because I still really like him as a meteor druid. Yeah, Friday we're going to talk about the items, because I think Grim Tools will be updated by then. So we can have a nice little chat about them, and all the insane crap that I've been hyping today. Yeah, Sino, did you have 2 pieces of it? Or did you actually go for the full thing already? Okay. Beautiful sets. Beautiful conversion. It's funny you mentioned converting to Aether on a druid. Vesrelix. I'm not going to say anything more. Yeah, and like, the music I was playing today was just the normal soundtrack. I didn't even play the music, and I thought about doing it for Ugdenbog. Yeah, so, we were talking about a little bit about how the classes feel like it's the weakest part of the expansion compared to the new areas and new items. I didn't even bring up the music. It was a two-hand sword that converts Force Wave to Elemental, I think. That's what's on the game guide. Beautiful sets. They're all beautiful now because you can transmog them. And all of mine are really, really low-key looking. Tiny shoulders, a cool hat, and that's pretty much it. You can link it. You're a WoW player. You're a WoW player after talking about transmogs, and it's like, yeah, I can understand why you'd want them. I mean, it looks fine. It's a blade build. I would... Oh, you got your gear in here, don't you? I'd probably stop in the Arcanist side at the conversion line, the conversion mental alacrity line, reclaim all the points from Reckless Power, Fabric of Reality, and the Mastery Bar in the expansion, and then put those points elsewhere. You'll get a lot more value out of them like that. I've seen orcs in WoW. Oh, I'd also consider dropping Blade Trap. Unless Blade Trap is only good for proccing devotions to me. That's the reason I use it in my Spellbreaker. It snares one type of monster really, really well. Because Blade Trap snares Flesh Hulks. It's the only reason to have Blade Trap. No, I know. That's why Electra's Flash Freeze exists. Get that to 12 out of 12 and you'll never need anything else. Also, if you do go that far in Arcanist, go for Star Pact. Because that will get your Electras even faster. Yeah. I hate that Herald too. That's one of the reasons I don't go in the Volberry. I did it enough to get a decree, and then that was like 2 attempts because I got stupid lucky. I love Valbury, the area. I hate getting into it, though. And now that we got Malmoth, I get all my Valbury fix not in Valbury anymore. Oh, wait. Can we talk about Malmoth? Can we mention it like that? I totally forgot. I think everyone's aware it's a city, right? Just occurred to me. Wait. As I was saying that sentence, I was like, wait. Am I allowed to mention Malmoth as kind of a city place like Valbury? Yeah, because they showed it. They showed pictures of it, man. It is less aethery, actually. It's more just destroyed cityscape. The city of Malmoth's been teased as being a city. If Malmoth were a real place, it would be considered probably a town. Because I don't remember big factories being in there. But by the standards of this world, it's definitely a city. See, I'm still in that point where I'm like, can I talk about this or not? Even though it's something I could obviously talk about. Hey, Vesrilix, some of us like that look. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to talk about items finally. It's going to be more exciting to be able to stream the game finally. I'll commence badgering Xantai round 4 or something. Friday maybe, if I'm able to make the live stream. Oh, she definitely doesn't care about her makeup. It's running down her face. I have it as my desktop wallpaper, and I'm looking at it right now. I think we've covered all the bases for tonight. I can't think of anything else I need to bring up for classes, at least for the time being. So, as I mentioned before, I'll be back tomorrow at about 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock EST to draw. The filer's still what the fuck in your head? Kinda. I'm sure something will come out of it. Because the Saboteur was a what the fuck. Until someone made something great out of it. I think the Pyromancer is a little like that, at least to me. See you later, Siegfried. Yeah, we'll have that talk on Friday. I'm also gonna do more of a review, I think, when the game's out. Like maybe that Wednesday, I'll devote a chunk of the stream to giving the game a once-over as a review. Once I get my thoughts in order about everything properly. And then I'll share my thoughts on it. Because I do have a couple, I shared a couple tonight. But I do have a couple more to share for the expansion as a whole. And maybe just gaming as a whole, too. I have thoughts that have been in my mind for a while, ever since I got in an argument about Diablo 3. That I feel I need to put to video. So, yeah, I'm going to call it. So, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. And I will see you guys tomorrow for some ink drawing.